What is happening, and welcome to the Talking Smack show. So we kicked off in Minnesota today, or last night, with Adam Pearce calling down Iyo Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. And he announced that they are, who'd have thought it, going to have a triple threat match at WrestleMania. I think we've known this was coming for many months, but as we saw with the tag team mess that we have now, we shouldn't take anything for granted. Once again, the ladies, Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, were disrespecting Iyo Sky, and she handled it exactly how I would have. She drop kicked the pair of them and held her belt up and walked off proud. She has to win at WrestleMania, in my opinion. They have just thrown shade at her so long. If she doesn't win, she is going to look weak. And I just love her anyway. I think she's cool as anything. And turns out she has a great bum, which, I mean, it doesn't add anything to her wrestling, but I can be a fan, right? But I just think she has to win. Like, she is cool as anything. And it's been quite a short run, and she's been made to look like she's been punked again and again by Rhea and Belair. So she has to win, in my opinion. And it has to be like a clean win where she comes out of it looking dominant. Like, we can't have Rhea and Bianca scrapping and her stealing a win. She has to do something like big, in my opinion. Backstage, we had Finn and Dom talking. Finn's fine. He's fine about Dom challenging for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. It's fine. Although he did throw a bit of shade at him afterwards. And then helpfully Finn arranged a match of Penta versus Dom later on in the night so that Dom can show that he isn't worthless and all the awful things that Finn said about him. Also, Liv had dinosaurs. Don't know why. Fairy brown dinosaurs. But I just felt I had to mention Liv somewhere in the show. So next we had Lyra Valkyria versus Bayley for the Intercontinental title. I have not been a fan of Lyra Valkyria, but every time I watch her, she's just impressing me more and more. She's probably like defended her title more than anyone in 2025 as well, which is cool. But she puts on great physical matches, and she's starting to get matches with, in my opinion, a better caliber of opponent than Dakota Kai, for instance. And she's just stepping up every time. Whoever she fights, she's having a great match. And I was thinking during the match, like, I probably take Bayley for granted. Like, she does great at me quite often, but man, she just puts on clinics. Every match she has is on her end at the very least. I mean, when you fight Nia Jax, there's only so much you can polish a turd, right? But she puts on great matches. She did a great spot where she did a sort of like dive-in baseball slide through from one side of the ring through the turnbuckle into the other side. And then there was a little exchange of suicide dives between her and Dakota Kai, and then Bayley delivering the Bayley to belly outside the ring, which was really nice. The match ended with Bayley having Lyra Valkyria in sort of Walls of Jericho type submission, and she had her for quite a while, and then Lyra didn't tap. So Bayley, in my opinion, this was a stupid finish. She let go of it and then went for the Rose Blanche, however you say the name of her finisher, and Lyra got out of it, managed to roll Bayley up and get the win. And I just thought it was stupid. Like, no other match do you see like a submission for that long and you let go of it. Like, she should have made her pass out or snapped her back or something. But it was a cracking match anyway, and obviously Lyra can't lose. And it was also confirmed that Bayley and Lyra are going to enter the women's tag team gauntlet on SmackDown on Friday, as expected. So we can expect them versus Raquel and Liv in a tag team match at WrestleMania, which should be entertaining, I think. Anything with Liv Morgan in, I am a fan. Next up, we had LWO versus American Made. This version of LWO was Del Toro, the other guy, and Dragon Lee with Ray watching on, versus the Creed brothers and El Grande Americano. And they were accompanied by Ivy Nile. No sign of Chad Gable, though, so I'm not sure where he was. I enjoyed the match a lot. I'm not a fan of LWO at all. I think they're a collection of average wrestlers. But Cruz Del Toro really, really impressed me in this. Like, I didn't even know his name or couldn't remember his name anyway before this match. But he really, really stood out as the best member of the LWO in that match. I was very, very impressed. He had quite a few great spots. The Creed brothers, outstanding again. I can't believe that Julius Creed's what's the move? Shooting star press isn't his finisher though. It's beautiful. It's perfect. And to see someone of his size, like that much muscle and mass doing that, I think it's incredible. I would love him to like start winning matches in general, but winning matches with that shooting star press. Towards the end of the match, El Grande Americano, who I thought Ivy Nile hated El Grande Americano and hated Chad Gable, but she gave El Grande a piece of metal, which he put into his mask, just sort of there, and then did a Chris Benoit style diving headbutt onto Dragon Lee and got the win. Later on in the show, Rey Mysterio was furious. He said he wanted revenge. Adam Pearce offered him Chad Gable. Rey said, no, I don't want Chad Gable. I want the one who's been disrespecting my heritage. And he is going to be fighting El Grande Americano at WrestleMania. So we're going to have Mexico versus the Gulf of America, which should be exciting. Straight after the match, there was Liv up in the crowd about to talking about Daddy Dom, and then they cut away. She literally said Daddy Dom, and then she was gone. I think it's outrageous that we didn't have another Liv Morgan segment. There should have been far more of her during the show, in my opinion. But never mind. Then we had Gunther come down, looking very sharp in a suit with a red tie. Apparently, the red tie was to symbolize Jimmy Uso's blood from last week, which made me laugh. Before he could speak, Jay's music played. He was up in the crowd doing his walking down thing. But the Minnesota crowd sucked. All show. They were bad. They were quiet. Like, they politely applauded every now and then. I think, like, Minnesota people are meant to be quite polite. But after Europe and then Chicago, Minnesota, you suck. You are bad fans. Or at least very quiet, weak, pathetic fans. Whichever. Gunther had the mic slapped out of his hand, and then Jay, in my opinion, delivered probably the best promo of his life. He was asking Gunther about his mum, what they speak about, telling him that he had to speak to his mum. His mum asked him why he let Jimmy get destroyed last week, and he said it was because he's scared. But he ain't scared no more. No, sir. And before their match at WrestleMania, he is going to pray and ask God to forgive him for the man he's about to become. Oh, I had goosebumps. I was so pumped, so excited by the end of that promo. This was the weakest rivalry going into WrestleMania by miles and miles. Then we had Gunther dismantle Jimmy, put him in hospital, make him need stitches to his head. And then we had Jay. Jay is tapping into something evil, something dark. He is about to be a bad, bad man. And now I am pumped for this match. Out of the 4 world titles, this is the one I am most excited for by miles now. It's crazy how WWE can turn it around so well. And this one, I think they won me over. I'm wrong. They're right. You're great. I'm shit. Well done, WWE. Like, I am buzzing for this match now. Next, we had the New Day, or the New Day, versus Raw is War Raiders. And I was gutted. I was like, why is this not a WrestleMania match? I was angry. I was furious. New Day deserve a WrestleMania match. What the fuck is going on? We had Tony Hinchcliffe from Kill Tony on the commentary table, joining Pat McAfee and Cole. He dropped a few jokes, ripped Michael Cole for a bit, but he went in full heel. He was ripping Big E, cheering on New Day. Tony Hinchcliffe, what a legend. It was great to hear, I thought. And like where Pat and Cole are both pretty faced, it was a good little a different viewpoint, a different side of things. And it made me think, like, we really need Wade Barrett at WrestleMania on the commentary team as well, because Pat and Cole, they just sort of nod and agree with each other a little bit too much. Like, think back to the days of JR and King, when we'd have, like, JR absolutely devastated by something and King loving every minute of it, or King saying comments that made you think he should probably be on some sort of register and JR being disgusted by it. We need a little bit more friction in the commentary booth, in my opinion. But match was good. Again, like, both teams solid. Xavier Woods is just a heel, and Kofi Kingston is like really starting to own that heel persona, particularly like in the ring. You're starting to hear more yells, more cowardice, more viciousness. I'm enjoying like him changing the habit of a lifetime to become a proper heel. So Xavier grabbed a chair, went to bring it into the ring. Ivar was starting to fight over it. As the referee turned around, Xavier let go and Ivar jammed the chair into Kofi's ribs, causing the War Raiders to get disqualified. And then, oh boy, I was wrong once again. WWE, take a bow. Kofi and Xavier started decimating the War Raiders. They bashed them. They tried to end their careers. They destroyed them. And now we have a proper tag team match set up for WrestleMania. New Day will get a rematch because they won by DQ. War Raiders are going to be angry. They're going to be out for blood. Like, now we have a proper WrestleMania being built up. Some of the matches that I was just like, yeah, this will be fun, or let's see what happened. Now I am pumped for that as well. Like, that is going to be a great match. And then I think we're set to have a far, far, far better tag team division on Raw than we have had for quite some time. I think really, like, the Usos being so dominant for the time they were sort of dismantled the division to a certain extent. SmackDown is back up and firing. My predictions are we're going to get Fraxium moving over to Raw from NXT straight after WrestleMania. I think we'll get one of the SmackDown teams moving over. I would like probably, Pretty Deadly to transfer over and be the second heel team and ultimately winning the belts over there if they're not going to get the chance on SmackDown. I think we're going to have the Creed brothers growing from strength to strength. Maybe LWO being cut, to be honest with you. And then I think we're going to have a much, much better tag team division. And then I also think we're probably going to have the Hardys coming back at some point. I don't think we're going to get the Dudleys. I know they're going to have a match with the Hardys, but I don't think that will be a WWE match. But I think the Hardys will definitely be on SmackDown before WWE anyway, before too long. Then there was a little video segment of Cody Rhodes, sort of photos of his youth and his career, and I thought it was done brilliantly. Had that Shabuzi song, not Tipsy, or I'm the Wrestlemania, I'm the Wrestlemania. That one, I like it. You probably now hate it after my rendition, but I thought it was a really, really good video package. I'm pretty hyped for that, but it's just really establishing that Cody is the guy. So next we had Penta versus Dom, and this is in anticipation of what I think is going to be a fantastic fatal four-way at WrestleMania, where we're going to have Bron Breakker versus Dom Mysterio versus Penta versus Finn Balor, and I'm really hyped for that. The match was good. I think Dom, man, what progression he has had in the last, how long's he been back? Well, how long's he been active on WWE? 3 years, maybe? He is now smooth in the ring. His character, he just oozes awfulness. I think he's the best heel in the company by miles. Like, his promos, he just draws heat. His match persona, he's just a cunt. His look is just bad to the bone. Like, Dom is the best heel, but the problem is people are starting to recognize, and he was getting cheered. People were respecting Dom and seeing how good he's getting, which isn't great for his character, to be honest with you. Like, he's going to have to up the awfulness once he wins that belt, which he should. He has to up how dastardly he is. We need a bit more lying, cheating, and stealing. He is set up so well to go on an Eddie Guerrero-like tear, where we're going to have loads of hitting someone with the belt, dropping the belt, and dropping down. Like, we need him to be Dirty Dom once again. So the match was fine. Dom lost, which for the storyline is the right thing to happen, because it just reiterates what Finn was saying about how Dom just isn't a title guy, probably. And then after Dom lost, Carly and Dom started putting the hurt on Penta. And then Bron Breakker ran down. Carlito hopped out of the ring to intercept him. And he took the biggest spear I have seen in my life. Carlito he wasn't just broken in two. He was pulverized. There are bits of Carlito painted on the ceiling in Minnesota. He was fucked up. Whoa! Like, if you don't watch Raw, just watch that spear. It was brutal. And then he ran in, Bron Breakker, Carlito isn't running anywhere. Bron Breakker ran into the ring and speared Dom. Then he speared Penta. Penta sold it like a champ. Like, Penta sold it like his organs had been put into a blender. But then Finn Balor snuck up behind him. And I can't remember what Finn's move's called, but he attacked Bron Breakker, and then he held up the belt and started celebrating. But Bron got up and he went for the spear, but Finn dodged it and ran away. I think that match is set up so beautifully. It has to be Dom that wins the belt, though. I don't think Penta needs it. I think Finn desperately needs a belt, but I would love Dom to win the belt, Finn to have a couple of months holiday, come back as a face and start challenging Dom. Dom to have one of the most heinous, evil title runs for quite some time. I would like Liv to get maybe the Intercontinental belt as well shortly after, and then just be like Bonnie and Clyde running wild. And then Bron Breakker's set for the main event scene. It's very, very clear. I don't know who he'll challenge or where he'll go next, but he's above the mid card quite comfortably now. So then the show ended, the last segment, with Paul Heyman in the ring, and he said that he will never betray the tribal chief. He will never betray his best friend, or he's loyal to the tribal chief. He's loyal to his best friend, CM Punk, but that doesn't mean he'll betray one or the other. And then Seth Rollins came down, and I thought Seth Rollins did some of his best work, certainly on the mic, for quite some time. He did a beautiful job of painting just why Paul Heyman shouldn't have loyalty to either of them. He explained that Roman Reigns has essentially abused him, then abandoned him and left him to get abused further by the bloodline, and then they attacked him, and Roman Reigns didn't come and rescue him. CM Punk didn't come and rescue him. He said CM Punk is just out for business, just out for money. He couldn't care less about Paul Heyman. And then he said that Paul Heyman needed to do the right thing and step down and just leave, not get involved in the match. Paul Heyman refused. Seth Rollins offered to do that for him. And he said one way or another, like, it just takes one foot to the back of the head. And then Paul Heyman snapped. And first Rollins started shoving him, slapping him around the face, asking where CM Punk was, pointing out Roman Reigns wasn't there. And Heyman snapped, screamed at Rollins, to get his hands off of him. And then Rollins started pushing Heyman into the corner. CM Punk ran down. They started attacking each other, fighting. CM Punk threw Rollins outside the ring, laid his head on the stairs, went for the curb stomp onto the stairs. Rollins rolled out. As Punk chased Rollins into the ring, Rollins delivered a curb stomp. Heyman leant over Punk, head exposed. Rollins ran up, went for the curb stomp, and pulled away. And then told Paul Heyman, "Now you owe me." This triple threat, like I said, Rollins was the odd man out. It made no sense. He offered nothing. And now we have it set up perfectly. We are going to have Paul Heyman screw over CM Punk, his best friend, screw over his tribal chief, Roman Reigns, and he is going to ensure that Seth Rollins headlines WrestleMania for the first time in his career, and he is going to win. And he's going to be a villain. And he is going to go on a tear again. He is going to defeat Jey Uso in a few months' time and become the world's champion. He is then going to have a rivalry with Braun Breaker until Roman Reigns comes back at SummerSlam. That is my prediction. Watch it now. We are going to have headline at SummerSlam, Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins with the wise man Paul Heyman in his corner. You've heard it here first. I am pumped for WrestleMania now. We have, less than 2 weeks to go. It is going to be sweet. I cannot wait for it. We have 2 more SmackDowns, 1 more Raw, then 2 nights of WrestleMania. I cannot wait, guys. If you want some help with your nutrition and your health, scan that QR code in the corner or click the link on the YouTube, Foundations Health Coaching. I would love to work with you. We don't want to look like Bert Kreischer and Otis celebrating topless. We want to get at least a little bit healthier ready for our WrestleMania debuts whenever they're going to be. Until next time, peace.